Hi everyone, welcome to Bodhi Coding. In the previous video, we had discussed about loading the data set for the employee retention prediction project in the data frame. Now we are going to discuss about the data cleaning, why this data cleaning is important in the data science project. So in the real world machine learning project, if we create a machine learning model for the data set, we need a proper data format. So machine learning only will accept the numerical numbers, it will not accept any character or string kind of things. So in the real world data set preparation, it is not possible to get the proper format of the data. So it will be the very raw data which having some malfunctioned details and will having some uncleansed raw data, so uncleaned raw data. So we have to clean the data before providing it into the machine learning model. So that is the reason why the data cleaning is important in the data science project. So we are going to clean our data we have loaded before. So let me first will provide the information for the data. So we have to call like data.info. So if we call this method in the data frame, it will provide the data type of the each column, each field. So what is this data type for the satisfaction level? So if we can see that, it will provide the data type, the flow 64, like kind of things. So object means it will be string. So now we have to see, is there any missing value here? So if you see that there are the total number of data in the total number of record in the data frame is like 14,999. So we can see that there is no null values, no missing values in the this satisfaction level column and number project column, but we have some missing value in the average monthly hours and time spent company, and also like if you see that it is smoker. So we have some kind of missing value here. So now what we are going to do? So we are going to print the count of missing values in each columns. So to do that, we have some method in the pandas package. So first of all, I am going to print the number of record in the data. So we can call that the shape argument attribute here. So the first it will return a tuple. In the tuple, the first will be the number of rows and the second will be the number of columns. So we have a 14,999 rows here and we have 11 columns here. So next I am going to print the number of missing value in the each column. So for that I can call like data dot is na dot sum. So if you see that, so there are 368 missing values in the average number of hours, average monthly hours, and there are 151 null values, missing values in the time spent company column, and there is 14,764 values in the smoker column. So we have to handle this. We cannot provide this null value itself in the machine learning. We have to handle this, however, before giving to the model. Okay. So like here we have a null values. So it will show the not null values. So for which rows we have values, it will showing here. So I have mentioned before that it was like null values. No, it was like mentioning that this is not null values. So now the next step, we are going to print how many each category in the smoker. So we can see that this smoker is like the object column, so it will be the string values. So we can take how many unique values in the smoker field. So for that we have a separate method called value counts. To call that, we have to make it like so smoker dot value counts. So we have a two kind of categorical value here. So one will be the yes and will be the no. So there are 180 count of no values and 55 count of yes value. So but however this smoker field is affect our left the target variable. So this is our target variable. So now we are going to print how many categorical count of categorical value here in the left field data left dot value counts. So if we see that there are 11,428 no values here and 3,571 yes values here. So comparing with this value, this no and yes value will be very small. So we can conclude that it will not affect the target variable. So for that we can drop this column. So we have to first analyze that whether that column is that missing value column is affect the target variable or not. So then only we have to decide whether we can keep it or not in the data set. So while comparing with this count of yes and no value in the smoker, there is much more values in the yes and no in the left column. So for that reason I am going to drop this is smoker value. So or else if we have a more number here, we have to try is there any way to collect the data for the missing value here. So now I am going to drop it. So to drop the column we have another method called like drop. So we have to call data.drop. So in the single quote we have to give this column name, and also we have to mention in the axis. So whether we are going to delete this value in the row level or in the column level. So if you want to remove that from the column level, we have to mention like in the axis, and so we have to mention like in place equal to true, which will be affected in the data set. So once we have called this line, it will be the smoker will be removed from the data set. So before that I will print the column names here. So data dot columns, to print the columns in the data frame we have to mention like data dot columns. So if you see that the smoker is already here, so once I call this method, so now the same code I am running here, the smoker will be dropped. So we have removed the smoker column. The next we have to move to the other columns like average monthly hours. So we have to fill this missing values. We have to try to replace these missing values. Okay, so what I am going to do is, first of all I am going to print what are the unique values in this average monthly hours. So data dot so whenever we call the value counts method, it will return a series with the unique value from the column and how many of occurrence it will having in the data set. So that particular column. So now I am having here like lot of numbers. So it means that we cannot remove this column from the data set. It will be related to the target variable. So we have to try replace the missing variable. So we have to try, at least we have to bring the values for the missing values. So how can we get that? So we have a lot of method to replace the basic value, and so the most familiar will be mean, median, and mode. So for this we are going to use the mean value. So what does this mean? It will take the average value for that particular column. So first of all I am going to take the average value for this average monthly hours. So average month hours, and it will be the data. So that particular column we want to compute the average. If you take that, it will print the mean value here. So we are going to replace this mean value wherever we have a missing value in the average monthly hours column. So to do that, we have some method called fill NA. So we have one method called fill NA, we are going to call it. So to fill a null value in a particular column, we have to call fill NA. So in that particular column, so I have to mention this column name here. So I am going to fill the null values in this column with which value? This average month hours. And also I need to make a argument in place equal to true to reflect the changes in the data frame. Okay, so if I run this code again, we can see that there is no null value in the average monthly hours. So like that, we have to handle this time spent company column also. And so to do that, I'm going to first so how many unique value here, I'm going to calculate how many unique values here. So data, again I'm going to call a value count here. So I have a lot of values here, and so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So now I am going to replace these values with the mode operation. 1 minute. So I have to call the value counts. Sorry, I have to call the values counts. See, so sorry, I have only the particular values 3.0, 2.0, 4, 5, 6, 10, 7, 8. So I have particular number of value and repeated it was several times. So if you see that the most occurrence of the value is 3.0, so which is 3. So here we need to take the mode value. So the mode value means which value have a more number of occurrence. So I am going to take the 3 here, and also you can calculate the mode value using some other method, some particular method if we have a large number of unique values in the columns and you need to make the mode value. So to calculate that, I am going to initiate a variable time spent mode. It will be equal to data of dot mode, and we need to call it as 0. So if we run this without this, it will give some tuple kind of value. So we it will tuple kind of value, and we have to make it this. Sorry, it is not a tuple. It will be a data kind of thing. So we need to take this 3 alone. So now we have a 3 value in the time spent mode. We need to replace this time spent mode value into the time spent company column. So to do that, like we already did in the average monthly hours, I am going to use the fill NA. So here fill NA. So what I am going to fill it here. So it will be time spent mode and in place equal to, and also we can make it in another way, like assigning that value to that column. Dot fill NA. So we are actually, first of all, we are replacing this value in with the time spent mode in the time spent company where it was having the null value, and then it will be assigned to the data frame straightly. So if we print the count of null values now, so we don't have a null values in the any column, any values. So now the data is has been. The next step, we are going to see how can we clean this target variable. So we know that we are already having the yes and null no value here, so we need to convert those into the numerical value. Like if it is yes means we have to place it as 0 1, and if it is no means we have to place it as no. No means we have to place it as 0.